Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. I apologize for this being the background and not being my normal bookshelf background. So this, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, is going to be hockey romance books on my TBR. Now, hockey romance has been going around and has become really popular in the last few months, and I am on board with this. As somebody whose favorite sport is hockey, it is the only sport that I can sit through an entire game and not complain. I mean, literally, I am so obsessed with it right now. It's really been over the last year that I've been really enjoying watching hockey, but my entire life I did watch it either with my dad or going to games, actual games with my local team. But literally over the last year or so, I've been more interested, and definitely the last 3 months as I've actually been watching games, and literally currently over the last week, I've been literally being yeah, people don't bother me, I'm watching hockey. And so I figured here are some hockey romances that are on my TBR. Originally I was going to do a Rex video, but then I realized I have actually only read 4 different series that are hockey romance, and I need to change that. I need to fucking change that. Also, I'm literally currently writing a hockey romance, so I feel like this is what I need to do. So I will just either briefly describe them if I know anything about them, or if I don't know anything about them. Well, obviously they're hockey, so hockey romances. So the first one I'm going to talk about is honestly the one that I need to read ASAP. I've been meaning to read it for over a year and I haven't, and that is The Deal by Elle Kennedy. I've heard amazing things about this, and all I know is it's a series of interconnected standalones as we are following each book is about a couple, but all of the guys from the couples are on the same college hockey team, and that's pretty much all I know. I know the first book is about Hannah and Garrett. Is that right? And I think it's fake dating. Is it fake dating? I'm honestly not sure. Or it's friends with benefits, something like that. Either way, I'm down to read this. I want to read it soon, and honestly, it will probably be the next hockey romance I read. The next book is The Puck Drop by Jacqueline Snow, and this is, all I know about it is he falls for the coach's daughter, who's an intern with the team or something. And it's friends with benefits. I think I'm literally skimming the description. I think that's something like that. But yeah, when in doubt, a lot of these I don't know anything about. I'm going to just go into them completely blind, knowing hockey, romance. Those are the 2 things I know, and that's pretty much it. Next is Sunny Disposition by Deanna Gray. I don't know anything about this besides hockey. Do I need to know more? Not really. And yet another one I don't know anything about is Taking a Chance by Kat Obi. I think that's how the last name's pronounced. But the only thing that is different about this is it is a paranormal hockey. I literally just looked over and was skimming the thing, and then I was like, wait, what? It's paranormal. I'm 10 times more intrigued. Oh my god, a werewolf hockey. Hello, sign me up. This is what I mean when I say I put books on my TBR, on my Goodreads, and I don't remember what they're about. This, I'm huh? But I'm I will take it. Next is Gravity by Tal Bauer, and this is a hockey romance that my friend Clint recently read and pretty much said, fucking read it. And that's literally all I know. But I'm this I actually might be reading in May, maybe. I really want to read it. And this one is definitely one that I'm it went from not on the TBR to I need to read it as soon as possible. Next one is Offside by Avery Keelan. I think that's how that's pronounced. Again, I don't really know much about it. It's hockey. You're gonna notice this theme as we keep on going. Kiss and Don't Tell by Megan Quinn. This, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is one where it's like she falls for her ex's half-brother, and one line from the description is 5 hockey players, a cabin in the woods, and little old me, Winnie Berlin. So it's like, I'm guessing she falls for one of the hockey players that she's stuck with. That's what I'm guessing. But the guy on the cover, I'm like, hello. Mile High by Liz Tomford, I know nothing about, except on any single recommendation video for sports romances or hockey romances in specific, this one's always on it. So of course I added it to my TBR and I want to read it. Maverick by Brenda Rothhart. This one is like, I put this on a TBR last month because it was from my TBR jar, so I know a little bit more about it. But this basically, we follow a guy who, he got into a fight and it was so bad that it ended up getting him kicked off of his team. But then there ends up being a new expansion team created, and which an expansion team is basically a new team added to the NHL. He ends up getting offered a spot to be the captain, I think. And then he meets this girl in a bar and the story goes from there. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, she is like, she works at, or no, we're a casino maybe, something like that. And so that's what I know about this. Hard Fall by Brenda Rothhart and Kat Mazira. I didn't realize there was 2 Brenda Rothhart books on this list. But this one, I literally knew nothing about, so I quickly read the description. Okay, so basically in this, you are following Weston and Hadley, and basically they end up having to live together to raise their best friends' children after their best friends unfortunately pass away. So it's, in some ways, it's like, it's not single parent, but it gives me those vibes of like, oh, they're raising these children together because that's what their friends wanted. Because they couldn't decide who to give custody to, so they come together and raise these children while falling for each other. That does sound kind of interesting. Maybe, who knows? Iced Out by C.E. Ricci? I honestly don't know how to pronounce that author's last name. This is the first book in a like series of standalones, and at least the first book as an MM romance. I don't know about the rest of the series. But it's hockey. I don't need to say more. The New Guy by Serena Bowen. This one I'm really excited to read. And this I will be reading in July for a special thing that you'll find out within like the next month and a half-ish. I think the thing will be announced. But this basically, we follow Hudson Newgate, and he's always switching teams. And so when he lands in I want to say it's Brooklyn. Yeah, Brooklyn. He ends up meeting Gavin, who is a guy that lives in his building, who's also an athletic trainer and a single dad, and the two of them kind of get together. And I'm really excited for this because I read Him by Elle Kennedy and Serena Bowen, and I really enjoyed it, so I feel like I might like this because it's Serena Bowen. Next up is Hat Trick by Coralie June and Carrie Gray. And this is like, you follow a girl who her boyfriend cheats on her with 3 puck bunnies, so she gets back at him by sleeping with 3 hockey players, and I think she ends up with one of the people she sleeps with. I'm honestly not too sure. It's like, it sounds like it could be a wide choose, but people in the like reviews are saying it isn't, so I'm like, I think she ends up with one of the guys that she hooks up with. I'm not too sure. Puck Me Secretly by Odette Stone. I don't know anything about this besides it is hockey, and I'm guessing it's set in Vancouver because the title series is called Vancouver Wolves Hockey, so Canada represent, I guess. Next is Consider Me by Becca Mack. I've heard amazing things from this on TikTok, so I'm like, I want to read it now. I also low-key love this cover because it's so simplistic, so I don't have any thoughts. Good Boy by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. This is actually the first book in a spin-off series of the Him series by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy, which is why I want to read this. And this, we're basically following the sister of one of the characters in the Him series, and like the two guys from the Him series, like best friend who is also a hockey player. And you kind of start to see these two's dynamic in the Him series, but you can read this as a standalone. But obviously I've read the Him series and loved it, so I really hope I like this. I also like how there's a dog on the cover. I love books where characters have animals, so sign me up. And the final hockey romance that is on my TBR is Egotistical Puck Boy by Eden Finley and Saxon James, and this is a hockey romance, and that's all I know. So yeah, those are all the hockey romances that are on my TBR. There's probably more out there that I've heard of and thought, oh my god, I want to read, but these are the ones that are just on my Goodreads, or I own like a copy of it, like on my Kindle or something. So let me know what are some hockey romances you would recommend to me to make this TBR even longer. I would love to know. Or let me know in the comments below also if there are any of these books that are on your radar, because I'd love to hear. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow. And hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye!